Malaysia's Takaful industry has continued to grow at a faster rate than conventional insurance. The growing demand for pure Islamic products has been contributing to the significant difference in growth rate. Even Fitch Ratings has said that Malaysia's Takaful underwriting income and capital strength will remain stable and robust on sustained growth in contributions, despite challenges from volatile profitability. Today, we look at the key drivers of growth for the Takaful sector and what challenges Takaful operators are expecting to face in 2023. I'm Anita Woo, and this is Money Matters. Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of Money Matters. To speak about the Takaful industry, we have Takaful Malaysia's Group Chief Executive Officer, Nur Azman Zainal. Welcome to the program, Nur Azman.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So let's kick it off by asking a little bit about the background and the establishment of Takaful Malaysia, as it is the first Takaful operator in the country, and to my understanding, even further than that. As a pioneer in the local Takaful industry for over 3 decades now, it has transformed into a well-established Takaful operator, providing comprehensive as well as affordable Takaful solutions and financial security to Malaysians. So please walk us through and tell us a bit about the establishment of Takaful and Takaful Malaysia specifically.
Well, it's good to talk about history a bit, yeah. Takaful Malaysia is coming to 40 years old actually. And if we, look back 40 years ago, in 1984-85, government at the time realized that, we need to set up an alternative platform as opposed to conventional insurance, because at the time, this Majlis Fatwa Kebangsaan, or National Fatwa Council actually, it says that the conventional insurance does not conform or does not comply. So that makes it a bit hard for the Muslim to buy insurance, and we know insurance is a need, So that gave birth to Syarikat Takaful Malaysia in 1985, actually. So we are now, coming to 40 years old, and we are doing very well. And thank goodness, we are getting stronger and stronger by year.
Indeed. In fact, we had been quite a forerunner in the Takaful space, so much so that England, for example, and some Western nations had referred to us, hadn't they, and in terms of consulted to us in terms of model to set up their own Islamic finance.
Yeah, correct.
Fantastic. Over the next years, especially, Takaful Malaysia has indeed recorded stellar performance, reflecting the company's underlying strength and resilience. For the financial year 2022, let's talk about that. Under your leadership, Takaful Malaysia posted record-breaking PBZT, so it's a profit before zakat and tax, revenue as well as gross contributions. Can you share what some of those contributing factors behind this historical record of its achievements, your achievements?
Well, the thing is 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, that we released our financial result for 2022 actually, and we hit a record-breaking year in terms of our profit before zakat and tax (PBZT) of $500 million. It was all-time high for us, and also we hit an all-time high for our top lines or sales, and as well as our operating revenues, 3.7 billion. These are basically we talk about $500 million profit of PBT, yeah. And it was contributed mainly by our sales, actually, because the main generator of our sales is coming from our banker Takaful, as well as General Takaful. So these two segments are doing very well for us last year, especially, So these have helped us to achieve what we achieved last year, And in fact, actually, if you look at our financial for last year, we gave out, quite a good dividend for our shareholders. We increased our dividend from 2021. So all in all, if you look at our performance in 2022, has been a record-breaking year for us.
On that note, do you think, in terms of, I would say, contributions for that, as you mentioned earlier, was from the bank. But in terms of family and general Takaful, in that sense, do you think there was anything in a post-pandemic shift or this awareness about health and mortality rates and just that? Do you think that that contributed, in fact, to, you know, and awareness, obviously, coupled with that, that contributed to the sales increase?
I got to be honest with you. The thing is, like, you know, we had our MCO for 2 years, right? Because of pandemic 2020 and 2021. So the moment that we had our economy open up again last year, I think we, insurance industry, do benefit from it, you know, because the market is open up again, and then the banking sector is flourishing again, you know. So we ride on that, you know. So I think we did have a good year last year, and the fact that, I mean, coming back to your question just now, whether, you know, the mortality rates, the claims, you know. Interesting part is if you look at the industry in 2020 and 2021 during pandemic, you know, people hardly claims. But you would see during the pandemic, people don't claim, but post-pandemic, you know, they are making claims. But because the life is coming back to normal, you know, so, but at the same time, the sales are going up as well. So in a way, it's a good thing for the industry.
Okay, so Takaful Malaysia continues to record commendable growth, as we were just touching on family Takaful as well as general Takaful business. What are your expectations for both those business segments now going forward, now that you've talked a little bit about the trends that have happened over the pandemic? Do you expect the growth to remain strong? And what do you think now, in this post-pandemic era, will be the key drivers of growth?
The thing is about Takaful Malaysia, right? We have two big engines here. One is keluarga, one is general. So my expectation, you know, we're looking forward to another commendable growth this year, because the thing is, there's a lot of opportunities out there. If you look at the market penetration for Takaful at the moment, for Takaful, it's less than 20%.
Still.
Yeah. So you have a lot of rooms actually to grow.
Right.
You know, and then in terms of awareness among Malaysians when it comes to financial protection, especially the Malays, the Muslims, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do. You know, you talk about medical, you talk about motor is a given.
Yes.
You know, everyone needs motor insurance, motor Takaful, right? But medical, life protection, all that, you know. So I'm quite optimistic in terms of looking at the growth of Takaful Malaysia this year, you know. So that's how I see it.
Thank you very much. We're going for a short break. We'll be back with Encik Nur Azman Zainal right after this. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us here on Money Matters. We have Takaful Malaysia's Group Chief Executive Officer, Nur Azman Zainal, in studio with us today. All right, thank you once again for being here. We'll carry on the wings of the discussions that we had earlier. We're talking about how the economy has pretty much come back to pre-pandemic levels. Business, social activities, claims even, Takaful claims. So the question is here, what are your expectations of your business segments now going forward, whether it be general or family Takaful itself? And what do you think the key drivers of growth would be in the coming year?
Well, the thing is like, when the economy reopened last year fully, right, in 2022, the whole industry actually benefit from it. And you can see that the growth of the whole insurance and, especially Takaful industry was on the upward trajectory, actually. And in fact, for Takaful Malaysia, as I just mentioned, 2022, we had a record-breaking year, right?
Right.
So coming to this year, actually, we expect we are going to continue to grow. The fact that the whole, the social activities are back to normal, and we expect the demand for Takaful will be there.
Yes.
In fact, actually, because, as the economic activities are coming back to normal, so naturally you would see the insurance or Takaful protection will be needed. And as for Takaful Malaysia, for example, we have a big business in banker Takaful segment. So we would expect the banking sector and the financial sector will grow.
Yes.
Naturally. So we will ride the wave as well. And at the same time, if you look at general Takaful, besides the motor Takaful, which is natural growth for any company who writes general insurance, right? We do expect a lot more traction when it comes to general Takaful, motor Takaful. But as for Takaful Malaysia, we see a lot of opportunities coming from the other side of it. Meaning, if you look at the whole spectrum of Malaysian, our life, right?
Yeah.
You have to look beyond motor Takaful as a business. There's a lot more things that we can do. There's a lot more things that people need in terms of protection, awareness, and the recent flood, for example, So that creates awareness in terms of what kind of protection that we can offer to mitigate that, So I expect the growth will be coming from both segments, family and general. So these are our key drivers for this year, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. So investors now have been concerned a little bit about the impact of the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standards 17 on Takaful Malaysia. Do you think that this is a relevant concern? And what is your guidance on the impact of MFRS 17 following its adoption just earlier this year on 1st Jan?
Yeah. I've been frequently asked this question, actually. This is a very interesting question. And even this is a topic which investors, analysts are talking about when it comes to analyzing the whole insurance sector globally, not just Malaysia. And I don't want to say that this is a major concern, but the thing is there's a lot of explanations needed out there in order to make market understand what is actually MFRS 17. Or sometimes I use it FRS 17 because it's a bit mouthful.
Yes.
MFRS 17. So MFRS 17 is just an accounting change. Before this, the way we treat, I try to make it as simple as possible in layman terms. Under the current regime, before FRS 17 comes into place, actually, the way we recognize the profit is different from how we recognize the profit today under FRS 17. But I just want to give assurance to people out there who may be concerned about Syarikat Takaful Malaysia. In terms of our fundamentals, remain strong. In terms of our capital, our cash flow, our business strategy remain intact. Because the total profit that we write remains the same. It's just that, the thing is like if I can give you an example, if you buy a house, you take a loan of R1 million, and insurance will be embedded into it, right? And there will be a single contribution or single premium paid on top of it, right? Under IFRS 17, instead of single premium, so you have to recognize, you have to spread it over the tenure of the loan.
Right.
So which means your profit will be spread over the tenure of the loan. So your accounting will take care of that, you know. So what I'm trying to say here is the total profit over the tenure of the loan is the same.
Right.
It's just that you are deferring the profit, you know. So my point here is there should not be a major concern. You know, so that's how we see it. And in fact, you know, if I can just say this, people have to get used to the word CSM or contractual service margin, which is a technical word.
Yes.
But in other words, it's just a future profits that will be released over time.
Yes.
So that is MFRS 17 all about, if I can just put it short.
Thank you for that technical and but straightforward, clear explanation. It's time for our next breather. We'll have more insights on the Takaful industry right after this. Stay tuned.
development, in terms of operationalization of it, social responsibility for it, you know, and investments, you know. So all these will be embraced, coming together under ESG umbrella for Takaful Malaysia. Let's
take a look at some of the challenges that you foresee your Takaful operators facing this year or in coming years. I mean, whether it be something as simple as high turnover rates of your operators or agents, what do you foresee some challenges being?
Maybe I can talk a bit about the industry in general, right? On behalf of the industry, I think in terms of the challenges that we face today, it's the same, it's similar to any other countries. You know, high inflation. You know, our economy is a bit of a challenge today. You know, but so the questions will be, where do we find our growth going forward? But bear in mind the penetration rate, which is less than 20%. Everybody in Malaysia needs insurance still. It's a question of how do we generate that in terms of our product, in terms of our product design. How do we deliver that? Is it via agency force? Is it via banks? Is it via brokers? You know, so these are, you know, it's a common challenge that everybody faces today. It's just that,
it's also because the conventional insurance industry is quite aggressive. I mean, they're quite dynamic in terms of their innovation. So I guess in that it's good to have a benchmark, so to speak.
But if you look at the size of Takaful against conventional, yes, we are the younger brother.
Yes.
You know, but does it mean that we can't grow? We can grow. You know, if you look at the Muslim population, even though Takaful is not meant for the Muslims only, but if you look at the Muslim population alone, we have 60% Muslim here.
Yes.
You know, you have a lot of opportunities to drive that. You know, so but challenges will be there. You know, it's just that how you design your product, how you deliver the product. So that would be key.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the expectations of Takaful seeing that steady growth. You've talked about how there's a huge captive market still to be tapped into. What is the current strategic direction of Takaful Malaysia in order to stay competitive in your as leading Takaful operator in 2023?
A very important question to me personally as a CEO.
Yes.
You know, being the oldest Takaful and being the first Takaful, you know, in Malaysia, we need to stay ahead of the curve. And I did say earlier on that, you know, we built our business today based on banker Takaful, general Takaful, corporate, as well as treasury, you know, family and general, right? So where would be our growth coming in the next or in the future? You know, the thing is, first of all, we talk about digitalization. You know, this is a segment that everybody must embrace, including Takaful Malaysia. Okay, this is one part that we need to build on. Second thing is about the retail market. You know, I must admit that we are not strong yet in the retail market segment for family Takaful. So this is a space that we need to make our presence felt. If you notice, you know, since last year, we've been aggressively marketing our brand. So brand and marketing is going to be part of it.
Yes.
You know, so we're going aggressively to ensure that our brand is you know, is felt.
Yes.
You know, the brand's presence has to be there. So my point here is, when it comes to driving the growth for the company, these are the two areas that we'll be looking at. Besides maintaining the current leadership position that we have in banker, general Takaful, corporate, as well as the treasury business.
I look forward to that.
Yeah,
I'm sure many of your clients and stakeholders look forward to that too. Congratulations. We've come to the end of the program. With that, and many thanks to our guests in the studio, Takaful Malaysia's Group Chief Executive Officer, Nur Azman Zainal. Thank you once again for being here. For the past half an hour, you've been with us on Money Matters. Do join us at the same time, same day next week for more money insights that matter. With that, I'm Anita Woo. Have a great weekend.